Hi, folks. Welcome to the McKinney Podcast. This episode is a special part 2 of a 2-part conversation with Mr. Matt Hamilton, entrepreneur, rancher, and expert for all things beef. If you haven't watched or listened to part 1 of this conversation that dropped last Monday on the podcast channels as well as our YouTube channel, be sure to check that out first. We had no idea that this conversation was going to spill well over into 2-episode territory. Thanks so much to Matt Hamilton for being so generous with his time and his expertise and his enthusiasm for the beef world and the restaurateur world. He is an entertainer. He is a provider and just all around very interesting guy. Fred and I had so much fun with this conversation, and I welcome you to part 2 of the Matt Hamilton episode on the McKinney Podcast. Thanks.
Fred, is there anything else you want to ask? I'm basically good on my questions.
I mean, I love that, that you've given us, more to consider and all those things. But let's bring it back to right here in McKinney.
Yep.
Why should people come to one of your establishments over the others?
I have 7 kids and I need your money. No, you know what? Because we care. Mm-hmm. Whether it's there's a cell phone number behind. There's a cell phone number behind everything that we do. Most from the clothes on the shelves in our clothing store, we know the people behind those brands. To the food on your shelf, the people are the people that are the eggs that you take home from my store are people that I know way better than I know you, Fred. Mm-hmm. Like, these are people that we know. This isn't like, I don't know. We know these people. And we put in the effort to make sure we're bringing you the highest quality food on the table in the restaurant or your table at home. So your table, our table, your grill, our grill. We are obsessed with quality and cleanliness. This is the most drug-free. 80% of the cattle in the United States are given a growth regulator at this point, qualifies them for export to Canada, Europe, Australia, Russia, and China.
They won't take our stuff?
Yeah, we have a 3 parts per million beta agonist pass-fail safety level, and the rest of the world's is 5 parts per billion, which is basically how you quantify zero. So, yeah.
We're at 3 parts per million. They're at 5 parts per billion with a B.
Billion.
So their threshold is almost 1,000 times more stringent.
It's how
than
you
ours.
It's a way to quantify zero.
Yeah.
It's a way to quantify zero. So
Wow.
it's if they ever had it. It's.
I mean, so just in the way of other carcinogenic chemicals and everything else, all these things, these additives and other preservatives and whatnot that are illegal in all of Europe, that's perfectly fine here. We're basically poisoning ourselves compared to the rest of the world.
Wasn't all the outbreaks of bovine, spongiform, and stuff like
BSE? Mad cow.
Wasn't that all over Europe? That wasn't here, right?
It was. So why did they have BSE? How did it happen? Thank you for bringing it up. So mad cow disease, bovine
spongiform encephalitis. Yeah, that's what it is.
Is a neurological disease. It happens in cattle that are over 3 years of age because they have to build up. So it's the same. It's cannibalism. So what do you call the plate? What do you call the things that build up in your body if you're a cannibal? It's the same thing. It's a version of that. So cannibals can get this same brain disease, but for humans. That's why they were worried about mad cow disease, because if humans eat enough of those, then you could get the same neurological disorders. We don't feed animal byproducts to animals. So same species. We've never done that. We've had very strict rules. So we can't take the cow guts and grind them up and dehydrate them and feed them to cows. You can feed them chickens. That's a different deal. Herbivore, omnivore. You can do
genetics.
That doesn't work. But you can't make things cannibals. You can't feed animals to themselves. But Europe was doing that because they're landlocked. They don't have the grain supply we have. They need to get rid of that stuff. So they were doing that. And the warning signs were on the wall, and people, the speed limit's 65 miles an hour. Do you know anybody that speeds? Weird. I mean, it's posted. You're telling me people would drive faster than the posted speed limit? You mean people were feeding more than the recommended, even though they knew it was a problem, you shouldn't do it at all, don't exceed the speed limit, and people exceeded the speed limit? Right. we closed the border with Canada over that. And my Canadian friends, I was with some folks from Canada last summer for a week, and boy, they get hot under the collar about that. I'm not even calling them right now. I'm telling you right now, their world's upside down. We had one cow that came from Canada that was a possible BSE animal, possible, and they shut down the border. No cows could come from Canada. Now, my Canadian friends, they're very versed in this. They never got a confirmed test on that cow. It was a political move then to close the border to help American beef prices. Also, for the United States government, is a way to go like, BSE, we're on this, mad cow. We are undefeated, protecting the American consumer from mad cow and alien invasions. We are 1-0. We are 1-0. We are done. Well, wait a minute. We've never had to battle alien invasions. Yeah, we never had to battle mad cow disease either. But it was a great talking point to make the American consumers think that they're really doing stuff. It was never even anything to be concerned about.
Really?
E. coli 015787 was something to be worried about. Oh. And that's what kids eating fast food burgers died from. No one ever had. We never had mad cow disease. Mm-hmm. We never had alien invasions. We never had mad cow disease. We used it as a political tool to close the border against Canada. We bankrupted Canadian ranchers in the 90s over it. And, it was a bad deal. It was a bad deal.
Wow.
But there's a lot of politics of food. I had a very large guy. He's the largest beef supplier to the United States military in the 80s. And he got put out of business because he was backing the governor of Texas who was going to run for president of the United States. And he's back in George W. And the administration at the time, they put a bullseye on him. And they went after him over some mess. 3 years later, he was completely exonerated and claimed completely innocent. Sir, you were completely taken advantage of by the federal government. Our deepest apologies. We're sorry you're bankrupt. We're sorry you've lost your business. We're sorry you no longer have. You went from being the largest supplier of beef to the United States government to out of business. But here's a piece of paper saying, not your fault.
Wow. How about that?
That guy's name is Steven Spiritus. I've had lunch with him a couple of times. And so he said, don't ever get too big, Matt. Don't ever get too big.
Wow.
Yeah, but you seem to be growing. I mean,
no, I'm not the largest supplier of beef to the United States government.
But you're quickly becoming the kingpin of the square.
Well, I'm going to go out and do these podcasts so that we can, if I turn up dead,
Now, is that a conspiracy theory? Or is that
This is
sounds like some ignorance to me, Fred.
Yeah. I don't do, I'll tell you, I turn down podcasts. I don't do podcasts.
So why'd you say yes to this one?
Yeah, I know a lot of people have been on here. I kind of called around, vetted you guys out. And here's why I don't do a lot of podcasts. So people call me. I don't know what your agenda is. Yeah. Over here. So what I can't risk is getting, one a week. I get asked once a week to come to a podcast. So one, someone's like, you got 8 followers. I'm not wasting my time to come do 8 followers.
Yeah.
2, I don't know. I can't walk into some kind of an ambush or get led into something where I get, asked about whatever, and get in a situation where I do have a target on my back or somebody get a one-liner. All you need is, you just need that 1 minute while ago where he's like, what is a bull pimp? So you take that out of context. You take that out of context. You put that on McKinney Cares, which is nothing but truth, honest, and integrity. Only people who think the best of people are on that particular platform. So I just don't want to create any scenarios where I can get,
It makes sense.
Negative.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate that.
I don't need the negative.
I figured that you probably said yes to it because I have a picture of Larry Gatlin kissing your newest born baby.
Yeah.
I think that was the first time I met you, and I was like, I don't even know who this guy is, but Larry Gatlin is like
the thing
treating you
that
like
just
a hero,
blows my
superstar.
mind is like the phone I'll get a text message and it'll be Larry Gatlin want me to ship steaks to his house. Like all these amazing people we've met, that we have a lot. So Dallas Cowboy players, we get a lot. We have a lot of them. They're here for a year or two. They get traded somewhere else, and we ship
win Super Bowls.
We ship meat to them. So we get it's just crazy the people we have these relationships with. That I have one former player that lives 3 states away. He literally buys 2 head of beef at a time and we send it on a truck on pallets. We LTL, lessen load, ship it to him for his family. He buys 2 beef at a time, and they split it up amongst all his family.
Wow.
And so it's just, anyway, it's just, I never thought so he said, well, did I see all this? Never saw, whatever. And people say, you have an empire. You have it's a lot. Like if people say, how do you do it? Well, it's a lot. And it's not all sunshine and roses. And it's not easy. And you have things where you have your street torn out for 13 months. And it tears you up. Like, so why should you come do business with me? I need, like, the restaurant could use, we took a 13-month whooping at the restaurant, right? And everything's high. People are cutting back on their grocery budget right now. So we say, I get it. Everything's expensive, but come see me at least for your birthday. So, we're just hanging in, doing the best we can, but there's ups and downs to everything, but there's a lot of nuances. They're tough businesses. And people say, well, why'd you get in a restaurant business? Such a tough business. You ever tried farming and ranching? You won't talk about tough business. Hell, we got air conditioning in here. I mean, this is a pretty good place to work. But yeah, it is whatever it is we're doing. We want to do it at the highest level. Our intention is to do it at the highest level, the cleanest food, the healthiest food. And so I never saw that we would have the likes of famous people. And I never thought, I wanted to have this. You dream like, oh, we're going to champion. People come to me and go, can I take a minute to tell you what your food has done for me? And they tell me about their health problems they've overcome. I had a lady say, I cannot tell you what your food has done for my autistic son. I said, I didn't know you had an autistic son. This lady's in a butcher shop every week. Got these 3 kids. She goes, yeah, this one. I said, this kid? Let me show you some videos of this kid 2 years ago. And this kid's like uncontrollable. He's 6 years old. He has a shake, can't talk. And this now 2 years later, he's running around the butcher shop. It's like, that's what for him, and there's a lot of levels, a lot of different things. I'm not saying not claiming we cure autism at Local Yocal Farm to Market. But for that family, we did.
Sure.
Results not typical. Individual experience may apply.
But it's
your mileage may vary.
Weight losses, people getting off diabetes getting off their diabetic insulin because they changed weight. It's just
hold on now. You serve some desserts up there at Local Yocal.
Well, you can't live on those, Fred. I mean, look, look, warning. If you're thinking about opening a burger restaurant, no one told me I would gain 15 to 20 pounds by opening a burger restaurant. They did not tell me that. So I'm battling to get that knocked off.
But before we let you go, I want to have a little bit of fun here. And your chef may hate me for asking this question. What is the best thing on the menu that not enough people order? Like the secret killer on the menu at Local Yocal,
what's the sleeper?
Where you're like, what? Why do not more people order this thing? It's because I know your menu changes. It's seasonal, and when the Brussels sprouts are not in season, my wife gets real mad.
Oh.
They're so good.
We have these off menu items that
you don't want to tell me about because hundreds of people are going to ask for it.
Well, I mean, I guess I could. I don't know. They'll kill me. There's a brisket cheese fry that exists off menu. Brisket cheese fry that exists off menu.
See, I wasn't going to ask an off menu thing because as a former restaurant manager, I didn't want to put you in a supply chain issue. It was like, dadgummit.
So I'm trying to think like
brisket cheese fries
over time. So like we had this amazing chicken salad sandwich. And like nobody ordered it. And it was great. It was smoked chicken salad sandwich.
Ooh.
And like nobody ordered it. It was a dog. And we quit carrying it. And it's back on the menu right now because apparently absence makes the heart grow fonder. So we took it off the menu for 2 years and now everybody wanted it. But nobody was ordering it.
Chicken salad sandwich.
So smoke the chicken, then you make chicken salad, put some grapes in there. And, serve it on a croissant. Ooh. Hey, fun fact, my hamburger bun costs more than all the ingredients in a fast food hamburger. Wow. There's a whole egg in every hamburger bun.
Wow.
Really?
My hamburger bun alone costs more than your quarter-pound fast food burger, fill-in-the-blank fast food chain.
Well, let's be honest here, though. How much beef is actually in a quarter-pounder?
So The Arches claim 100%, and I have met their sustainability officer. I had lunch with him, and I believe it's all beef. Now, there are layers of beef to ground beef. So with ground beef, we have ground beef. So there's just good old ground beef. Then there are meat products. So we have there's the pink slime.
Yes.
That's called lean, fine textured beef. All the hublub. CBS actually they lost $1 billion lawsuit. They got sued and lost because they misrepresented that product. But boy, you got to see those chicken nuggets being made. But that's a fine meat product that they take very fine meat and get as much fat out, and they emulsify it. So they got another product that you're just going to love. So out there in meat world, there is 50-50 trim. So the cheapest meat product you can get is the trim off the fat cattle plants. It's half meat, half fat. And this week it's 80 cents a pound. So, but it's half fat. So I either will pay a bunch of money for lean, or I can run that through a chemical bath, and I can chemically get the fat out of it, and I can create chemical lean. And this is a meat product. You can look it up, USDA Carlisle report. I can create chemical lean, take all the fat, chemically separate the fat, and produce a 99% chemically washed meat that's now worth $3 a pound. So I take 80 cents, I take the fat out, fat has some value, and I take, I take that and turn it into $3 a pound meat. Then so now I got the 50-50 trim, I got the 80-20 trim, I got the 90-10 lean trim, I've got the 95% lean textured beef, and I got the 99% chemical lean. Mix all that stuff together into ground beef. And that's how we get, I used to quote this Harvard study that said somewhere between 80 and 140 strains of DNA in every 1 pound of ground beef at the grocery store. And for whatever reason, that study's not up on their site anymore. So thankfully, University of Nebraska's got some fantastic new studies out, and their studies say 364 DNA strains in 1 pound of meat at the grocery store. But your favorite fast food chain, the big one, they did a 1/4 pound burger from there. 1,800 strains of DNA in a 1/4 pound of beef.
Whoa.
So there's not much room for anything else in there but beef. I mean, you get, and that's University of Nebraska, not my results or study or finding. Please, University of Nebraska, DNA in ground beef, Google, and you will find it, and you can read the whole thing.
That means it is the definition of a conglomeration of a whole bunch of stuff.
So you think about, at a big beef plant, we have run 8,000 head of cattle through there. They harvest those cattle in 8 hours. They cut them up in 16 hours. So they take as they're cutting these cattle up, from the time they walk in the door to they're in the cooler, in the carcass form, chilling, getting cold. That's around 18 minutes on average, 18 to 20 minutes. It's fast. I mean, they got a lot of tools, a lot of people. Then they get that temperature from 97 degrees, 96, 97 degrees. They get that down below 40 degrees, rolls out on the fab floor. 22 to 24 minutes, that carcass is cut up, vacuum sealed in a box. In that process, cut up 4,000 head of cattle in 8 hours. You throw the fatty trim down and the lean trim up, and the conveyor's just continually running. It puts in a 2,000 pound box. So you're going to get pieces and parts of hundreds of cows into a 2,000 pound box. Then that 2,000 pound box goes, and you dump 6 different flavors of those 2,000 pound boxes into this machine that proportionally grinds all those things and puts them together, and voila, you get all of these
1,800 strands of DNA.
1,800 strains of DNA in a 1/4 pound of beef.
So that's why you could leave it out on the shelf, and a month later, it still looks like.
That's probably more.
That's more preservatives.
That's more the preservatives, the salt. So you can add.
That's
things
the chemistry
in.
class that's sitting in there.
And honestly,
So
as
is it
much
really
as
beef?
anything, it's dehydration. It's just that they overcook that patty to the point to make sure that they are food safe. They cook that thing to done and doner, and then there's more high fructose corn syrup than tomatoes in the ketchup and blah blah blah. Blah,
so
blah, blah, blah.
last question, because I know we could just hem and
I don't have
haw. We
anything
could
else to
just
talk about.
shoot the breeze for another 30 minutes.
Oh, I have to have them back.
When you go to Local Yocal, what is your go-to meal? Off the menu, on the menu, whatever. It's probably on the menu. What's your go-to steak? How is it cooked? Is there any special preparation?
So what for lunch? I love a burger, and I love a burger. I grew up. We'd eat a hamburger, working, ranching, farming. We'd eat a burger 4 or 5 days a week. And I think the burger at Local Yocal Barbecue and Grill on the wood fire grill is the best burger in North Texas.
I can't argue with that.
I'll put up against anybody. I'm making a couple of modifications at Loyo Burger. It's 90% where I want it to be. I'm about to bring in a new piece of cooking equipment. It's going to get it where I want it to be. It's going to be a great burger, but it's different because it's on the wood fire grill. But it's going to be better. It's going to be great. So I love the burger for lunch. But if we've had a good Saturday, bone-in Wagyu ribeye or Murray Grey ribeye with demi-glaze and chimichurri, those Brussels sprouts, mushrooms, fingerling potatoes or garlic mashed potatoes, depending on what we're running that night, right? And then if it's that's a go-to, but if we have it and it's on special, happens about 3 or 4 times a year, spinalis, and then that's it.
That is the best muscle on the cow. I'm not going to tell you what
that is because that's a whole other hour. That's like 2.0.
Oh yeah, the spinalis is
ribeye cap,
the best muscle on the cow.
Best of the best. Spinalis dorsi.
You know what we need to do? We need to do a live podcast from the meat school.
What Matt didn't know is that I really like the steak conversation, smoking, grilling. What I'm all about it. Like the biology of it, the process, all of it. Like everything you just said, I'm just like, oh yeah.
I love cutting into it and just watching the juice run out and just putting it in my mouth. I was like, that is amazing to know all of that. And really, I mean, like I said, I've known you from a distance, and I've known you more the last couple of years. And by the way, congratulations being McKinney Main Street partner of the year. That's right. Yeah, that's.
I was on that board for 9 years before they kicked me off.
When he owns half of Main Street, the odds are pretty good.
Yeah, but congratulations for that. Just learning more about you, and that you're not just some Yahoo or any of those things, but that you're deeply educated, not just on the science, but on the politics and the economics around everything. I mean, I think that's amazing, and the fact that you have built up and spun off. Not even spin-offs. You really just analyze the market and what is needed here, and how do you best use your dollars, and not just for you and all your nearly football team's worth of children, but that you made that point, and I do agree that when my wife and I go to eat there at the Local Yocal, that there is a strong family vibe there, and that the people there, it seems like they feel like they're appreciated, that they're seen, and not just filling a hole to serve a table.
If you come in and abuse my employees and I'm in the building, I will escort you out. And if you don't believe me, read my 1-star reviews. Come in and cuss out a 17-year-old hostess that works for me and see how that works out for you.
Oh, man.
Amen.
So if you this is what I tell people, though, your daughter comes to work for me, we're going to walk her to her car. Mm-hmm. And we're going to take care of her, and she's not going to be so the workplace can be very predatory for young girls, especially restaurants.
Sure, absolutely.
You got 20-year-olds' brains, 20-year-old male brain working a whole lot different angle than a 17-year-old girl brain. Mm-hmm. And that don't play at my place. Mm-hmm. That doesn't happen, and we're on the lookout for that. So your daughter is safe to come work for me, from my employees and from my guests. Mm-hmm. And I have said to 65-year-old women, "Excuse me, ma'am. Do you have a granddaughter? Would you talk to your granddaughter like you were just talking to that young lady? Because she's somebody's granddaughter, and it just happens to be my daughter at one time." I said, "That's my daughter. Do you think you're going to talk to my daughter like that?" "Well, I didn't know that's your daughter." She's somebody's daughter if she's not mine.
Yep.
And people lose them. They lose their mind. But we try. Most of the time we can turn it around pretty nicely by just saying. I had a guy one night. I said, "Sir, were you in the Marine Corps?" "Yes, sir. I see your cap. I know you were." I said, "Sir, you should, as a veteran, you should not speak to people like that. I am disappointed that a Korean-era Marine would talk to a young lady like you just talked to that young lady." Boy, he got mad at me for a minute. He came back 2 minutes later and said, "You're right. I'm complete. I apologize. I said, "Don't apologize to me. Apologize to her." And he did. But sometimes you can turn people around. But if we can't turn you around, we'll walk you out.
We'll turn you around and walk you out the door.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, I'm telling you. I will say, just a little testimonial, man. I have been to Loyo Burger one time. Haven't
been there yet.
Being downtown at lunchtime, I'm usually right there at lunchtime. I don't take lunch most days unless I'm kind of meeting somewhere. But man, Local Yocal. I've had a birthday dinner there. We've had quarterly team lunches there. I've been in the building, I don't know, 30 times. Have never had a bad experience.
Nope.
Not once.
We're capable. We can do it. I've seen us do it. We have the ability.
No, because I'm not saying
we
that
work hard to
I'm not saying it's perfect. I've sent stuff back occasionally.
Well, I employ people,
Yeah.
and therefore we're not perfect.
And it's really hard for me to send something back because I was in the restaurant business and I know how annoying that can be when you got a hotline that's rolling out and times are so important. And you got a send back that you got to work into your progression and expo somewhere. So I'm rarely send anything back.
So as someone who worked in restaurant business, so people occasionally like to offer us recipes or give us cooking tips.
Oh, geez.
So what I love to do is like, ma'am, that's a great. Well, I'd like to show you my kitchen. And so the average person, and hey, before I got into wholesaling meat, I had no idea what goes on in a commercial kitchen. Is just people yelling at each other for 3 hours.
It's the most amazing thing ever.
It is moving. It is this orchestra of yelling and working together. And you have two individuals that can work together, and one you throw a new guy in, he messes up. Like you A, B, C. You're A, you're B, you're C. C can't work next to A.
Yeah.
It has to be this one. And it's just this beautiful thing when it goes right. So I love to have somebody go, you know what? Why don't we go in the kitchen and see? And then walk back there and go, yeah, so how would you do this different? And they watch that line and like, I got to sell table 43. I need those fries. Let's go. Selling 43. Shrimp and grits. We're dragging shrimp and grits. Let's go. Come on. 43's going. We're going now. We're going hard. Let's go. Let's go. Hey, Matt, what's up? You need a special? That's your mom? Hey, ma'am. And it's like, you got to go. Got to go. Got to go. Let's go. Next table. I'm like.
I love it,
And
man.
they're just like, I didn't know it was a war zone.
My wife will kill me for saying this.
It's not the Martha Stewart show.
If there is an opportunity to have guest server or something, I will throw an apron on and go work a Friday night. Just once a quarter. It's just to scratch the itch, man. Did you ever work restaurant, Fred?
Yes, absolutely.
So there's just something about the people that love the serving business. That when the tension gets up, when you can feel everyone's blood pressure elevate, the heart rates are up. There's just something magical about
Turning those tables,
dinner rush.
like, yeah.
Well, my favorite spot in the whole restaurant was Expo on a busy Friday.
Yeah.
Oh, I loved it so much.
Yeah.
I'm giddy thinking about it because I felt like a little bit of a psychopath because so many of my peers, they just couldn't handle it. They walked out stressed.
You're either geared for it or not. You know what I mean? So, y'all get home somewhere between 10, 11 o'clock on the weekend. And my wife will, and I'll go home and have a nice whiskey. And she doesn't understand, like, don't you just come home and go to bed? Why?
It takes you an hour to wind down.
It's
You
like
gotta
you
come
don't
off
walk
that high.
you don't walk off the football field, take a shower, and fall asleep.
Yes.
Like, I don't know what the wind down process is from playing NFL football, but it's not go home and go to sleep. Yeah. So and I think people understand, but there is. You're either built for it, geared for it, or you're not.
Yeah.
And really finding people and helping them. Hospitality is a spiritual gift.
It really is.
It's a spiritual gift, and it's from the Lord. If people don't understand it, it's either, and He gave you that or He didn't.
Yeah.
And
Preach.
So it's not for everybody, and it's wonderful to see people that it is their skill set. I see people, and walk the restaurant and go, "Hey, I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but that chicken fried steak does not look right. The batter's just a little bit. Can I get you another one?" They're like, I didn't want to say anything, but it wasn't like last time. It just wasn't right. I can see it.
Yeah.
And I can see that you're not enthusiastically eating it. I'll be right back with another one.
Yeah.
I'm not letting you eat that.
So when I go in there
That's
and
so
order
good, man.
my burger or steak, I just need to make sure that I have the wrong face on. Like, I'll take a bite and be like,
Yeah, because Fred,
I can't show the enjoyment.
because you're never smiling.
That's
I mean,
right.
you're never
That's
smiling.
right.
So
Right.
all you do is smile. So I don't know how.
Man,
I got to figure that out.
You couldn't fake mad.
see, the hard part about your menu is that
There's too many good choices.
there is not a single thing on there that I take the first bite of and don't go, oh man, that's so good.
That's right.
Every single thing on that dang menu.
That's
man.
I know
why it's hard to
I'm
eat
biased.
there.
I think we have amazing food, and so
Sure.
when people say meh, we had a recent negative. They just said it was one word review. It was disgusting. And
How?
they had the Hamilton burger and they had a feature. Disgusting. Like, I don't know where you. And then the people are like, well, it was okay, but it just for the money there should have been more of it. But we're not known for small portion sizes at the Local Yocal.
No.
Like if this isn't satisfying your itch, you should head to the Big Texan and knock out that 72-ounce steak.
right.
I mean, it's probably
that
more.
free.
You know, you're maybe a buffet eater. But I think one of my favorite, absolutely favorite, one I love is this. It's usually the same people like, oh, you changed the setup on the pork chop. Oh man, I know we do that twice a year. I know, but the last one was so good. I know, but remember last fall when we changed it and you said this? I know, but this one's my new favorite. Like
Yeah.
the one I know, and the one that you have now, it'll be your new favorite. In 6
So-
months, you're going to be mad at me again.
You're locally sourced for as many things as possible. You know, local produce, obviously local beef, local
And
local
produce,
poultry.
it's you may have noticed it's winter here.
Yeah.
So, but we try to get as much South Texas produce as we can,
Yeah.
and not get Chilean and. But I mean,
Yeah.
we do. You still have to have a menu, but we do, and that's why.
Yeah.
And that's why people understand. That's why we change our menu.
Yeah. Because what is available.
That's why you get beets in the winter and Brussels sprouts in the spring.
Man. So you're the definition of farm to table. I can't stress it enough.
That saying has got unfortunately just wore down. It makes me mad, but we are. That is a goal.
Yeah.
We didn't put it in our name. We put it in our hearts, and
I put it in my belly.
yeah, and it's
Well, I have to wrap this episode
Yeah.
up,
No, it's
unfortunately. Man, I would just look right in the camera and say, folks, if you haven't been to Local Yocal, you are missing out on a treasure.
That's right.
I can't speak that much to Lo-Yo Burger. I've only been there once. It was a great experience. Good burger, good fries. Those fries are sneaky.
tallow fries coming soon.
Oh, man. So I can't really talk about Lo-Yo Burger, but I can say Local Yocal is hands down my favorite restaurant in McKinney, with apologies to Rick Wells. So
Great
Harvest is great.
Love,
Chop
beautiful
House is
building.
great. Amazing.
Beautiful place.
Right up there.
Fantastic
It's
service.
A1, AB.
Rick's a good friend.
1A, 1B.
That's right. There you go.
Rick, we're coming for you, man. I want you to sit in that seat.
Yeah, right. Yeah, Rick should definitely come do it. I was on the phone with Rick today, so
The collegiality of you downtown folks and you guys that own property on the square and whatnot.
it is mostly, there are a few outliers that kind of are were
Curmudgeons and
sourpusses,
whatnot.
but it's mostly. I mean, if somebody sees something wrong with one of my properties, they call, vice versa. There's several of us, we call each other and go, hey, I got an employee applying. I see they worked for you. What can you tell me? And they say they'd be a good fit for you. Run or whatever. And then also we like Rick. I won't hire anyone away from Rick, and Rick won't hire anything away from me.
Yeah.
Like we don't go
Gentlemen's
out,
agreements.
we don't play that. And
Yeah.
we work together. And
Yeah.
there's,
And different flavors of ice cream. On Wednesday I may want Rocky Road. On Friday I may want pistachio.
I know it's small. I try the best I can to not serve any wines at the restaurant that Rick serves.
Yeah.
We look at their wine menu.
Yeah.
I don't want anybody going, well, you're $2 a glass cheaper. Or I don't want anybody, I don't want to be anybody. I want anybody to be like, well, we get this at Rick's and it's $2 cheap or whatever. I don't, or whatever.
Yeah. Well, then go to Rick's.
That's right.
Whatever. Yeah.
No,
And
and
then
I
they-
wasn't.
and
I
then they
wasn't
can stay at
kidding
the
about
hotel.
that guest server thing. If they're
Oh,
if
you just come to-
once a quarter, man. Oh
Yeah.
man, I would love to
We'll
throw
take
that
the
on.
help. You can come down and run the board for a few minutes.
Man,
God, man, why don't you turn that around to some
those
sort of
were
like,
the days.
a charitable.
Dude, guest bartender. You can be guest bartender.
Oh man,
Yeah,
say
so
the
you know.
word. I am
yes,
I am
bartender.
all the way in. give all the tips to Community
some
Lifeline
charity,
Center or
another.
something. Yeah.
So we tried to get a deal going at Local Yocal where we're going to do one night a week as we give part of the money to, like this week is hugs, because everybody's always got fundraisers and it's funny, weird, like when you ask people like participate in the fundraiser, like, hey, you guys show up here on Wednesday and we'll give you 10% of the night and be here. Like, oh well, we didn't want to come like do anything. We were just hoping you could give us some money. Not hugs.
No,
great.
Joy and Greg Booth used to do that with
EJ Wills.
With EJ Wills,
Yeah.
They had a guest bartender thing that went on for a while, and I've been behind Barb, and George has done it. A few other people, you've done it. I didn't do it.
No. There was never an opportunity. I mean, there was a waiting list.
Yeah,
there was a waiting list for that, and then they sold. So,
I hate. Have you done leadership, McKinney, Matt? No,
I've not. I've just never.
You haven't.
I've never slowed down
right.
to take it.
He just hosts it at the Augustus.
If you had done it, I knew it would have been a long time ago because obviously things have come a long way in your career. But yeah, the Joy was a member of the best class ever, class of 2020.
I love everybody. Ours is the best class ever. Ours is the best class ever. I love that. So. Yeah. I feel like I should do it and be like,
you want to do it next year? I'll do it next year with
all these realtors that are trying to get connected in McKinney, and you know,
man, the class this year is loaded.
It's pretty.
Oh, that's all.
Pretty
so,
snappy.
do you get? how do you get into it? Do you apply?
I know the people.
You have to go through the. You have to go through the gauntlet.
Oh, okay.
You get interviewed, and there's but
I probably wouldn't make it.
I thought the same thing. Somehow I got past the interview process. I don't know. No, but I mean, you being you, if you told them you wanted to be in the class, you have a seat in the class. I promise you.
I'm pretty sure they're not going to turn down Mr. Mean.
Hey, Barb, Matt Hamilton wants to be in your class for 26.
Yeah, when she touches this
Fred's going to be in that class. I'm speaking into existence
Fred's
right
be
now.
In 26?
Yeah, I'm thinking about applying
because Elizabeth is in this class
She's
for
right
this
now.
year.
That's right.
Yeah. So we'll see if we can make something happen
Fred's
there.
I couldn't, be me and Fred versus these young guys.
I wish they'd let me go a second time. I go back around to do it again. Jeez. Man, this is a great place to end the episode. As you can tell, this is just three guys who love McKinney, who enjoy a good story. Matt Hamilton, I don't even know what your title is. A guy who does some really cool stuff and is a great husband, great dad. Obviously, leader in every sense of the word. Matt, thanks for being here today. We really appreciate you.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
Go check out Low Yo Burger and Local Yocal and get your meat from the Local Yocal Butcher Shop, folks.
Appreciate it.
And LY Outfitters.
You know what? Hold
and
on.
dress at LY Outfitters.
Yeah, that's
Hold
right.
on. We're going to ask this one question. Fred, you want to lay it on him?
All right, Matt.
Who am I voting for?
No. Okay, so this is no wrong answers. Who would win in a fight between a great white shark and a polar bear in a body of water 6 feet deep of infinite width? There's no shore, no edges, no Marco Polo. Great white shark or a polar bear? Who wins that fight?
I'm going great white shark.
Why is that?
That's his environment. Land animal.
He's a local.
Land animal versus water animal and the animal. Put the shark on shore. My money's on polar bear.
There you go. That's as simple as it gets.
There you go. How about that?
Yeah, I almost forgot. We gotta give Matt. I figured Matt had some kind of a good answer there.
That's right,
folks. That's it. Thank you for joining us for the longest
the
episode
longest
we've
episode.
ever had by 20 minutes. This is the longest episode ever.
Sorry,
but man, this was a lot of fun. Don't you dare apologize. This was fun.
So we can count on. We can get a verbal commit for a round two
at some point.
Sure.
Yeah.
And can we come like literally and do like a live from?
I've got one tomorrow at 1:00.
Oh, really?
Recording in your location
at the Augustus Steak 101, 1:00 tomorrow.
Okay.
If you can't make that one, I do them about once a month for the public.
Oh.
So
now, are we guaranteed meat sweats?
Man, it's going to be pretty warm tomorrow. Meat sweats are in the forecast. Meat sweats are in the forecast.
What is
we
Steak
do crank
101?
the AC down. Steak 101 is 3 hours of meat education and entertainment. It's an hour of me going, telling you about how we rate some of the things we talked about today.
Say less. I'm in.
And then 18 cuts of meat. 1 ounce of 18 cuts of meat. We start with ground beef and we end with, spoiler alert, spinalis.
When is it tomorrow?
1:00.
But it's already sold
there.
out. Yeah.
Is it
I got
sold out?
guests, but I'd have to look. I don't know.
Oh man. Wow. No, I'll get with you for the next one.
Yeah.
Wow.
We always have spots.
Oh man. Okay. This has been the best episode ever. longest episode ever, for sure. I feel like every episode is the best episode ever, honestly.
Well, you can't compare them.
With apologies to all of our previous guests.
That's right.
Well, but hey, we are McKinney Podcast, celebrating what makes us unique by nature. Check it out later, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all take care.